Mike Barrett in with us this morning with good policies and big winter jacket, long johns. And he left Buddy at home because he didn't want to leave him in the cold truck.
Yeah, Charlie's not riding shotgun today. I dropped him off at the office to let him stay warm. So
yeah, Mother Nature's seat warmer is not in the building.
Not in the building.
No Charlie. All right. Yeah. Last week, we had a chat about snowmobiles and other things that you would need insurance on as you motor around through the snow season, but also how important it is to have insurance on them when it's not winter.
Yeah. Accidents happen year-round.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the idea of this segment, you tell people all the time, is to talk about good insurance policies. And to have a good insurance policy, you have to have good information, you have to have good questions, and get good answers.
Exactly. It's about a dialogue. It's about understanding your situation. You know, there's things that you could be missing without having that. So it's a really good thing to do. It's a good thing to have a little back and forth and discuss things. And I do that every day. It's my job, and I love it.
You know, I don't own a property. Never will. Not on this salary. Just ain't going to happen.
Well, no,
So
you
I'm
could
a
own a
renter.
shed or something if you wanted to, right?
I'd have to take a loan. Anyways, humor aside, every couple of years, the landlord has an insurance adjuster or appraiser. I can't remember the terminology.
It'd be an appraiser, yeah.
They come and they check out the
Inspector.
property and make
Yep.
sure that things are up to code and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I'm assuming, since I'm not the property owner, that there's a good reason for that.
There is. So, on that grand scheme of things, a lot of companies, every company reserves the right to inspect, bar none, unequivocally, whether they do or not, doesn't matter. They reserve the right to do so. Just like you won't buy a car without looking at it. Companies want to reserve the right to inspect a property because if that $250,000 house burns to the ground, the company's going to be paying a lot of money, $250,000 for the house, and then untold amounts for other structures or personal property or loss of use. So that's big. And for commercial, it tends to be more adhered to with companies coming in to do an inspection for restaurants and gas stations and commercial buildings and rental properties and things like that.
Well, kind of like we just read in the news this morning about that company in Lebanon who got themselves in trouble with OSHA.
Yeah. So insurance companies want to see what's going on. They want to see that if you're a restaurant and you're cooking, that you have the appropriate National Fire Protection Agency coded items like Ansel systems and fire protection, things like that. And I'm sorry about the frog this morning. It's the remnants of my cold that just won't go away. Thank you.
Have a Halls.
Thank you. But so it's really incumbent upon the companies to do that. And again, some companies just never will. I thought it fell on the ground. I got it. So that's something to be aware of. And that's why we do a pre-inspection. I call what I do a field inspection service or field underwriting. So I come out and look at your property before we place it to make sure that whomever we're putting you with won't have any issues with what they see. So that's kind of something to think about too. But this morning I thought what would be kind of cool is to talk about homeowner policies and a possibility for saving money.
Okay.
Who wouldn't want to hear about that?
Good policies.
Yeah. So on a homeowner policy, remind you, every single company has their own offering for crediting. And there's no rhyme or reason. It's just this is how the companies decided to offer credits to their policy. Did you know?
No.
No, you didn't. There is a credit available for having a fire extinguisher in your house and a smoke detector in your house with most companies. Did you also know that it's required that you have a smoke detector and a fire extinguisher in your house? So you're getting a credit for something that you got to do anyway. But some companies offer additional crediting where you can get a 1% credit for having deadbolt locks on your doors. I got one company that will give you a 3% credit if you have an outside wood boiler but no inside wood heat, which is kind of nice. I have companies that will give credits for the age of the house, for the updates to the house, for having a surge protector for the house. Every company will give you a credit for having an alarm system. You can get a credit for having what we call a local alarm system, meaning for theft. What's going to happen is a local alarm at your house is going to go off. You could see some crediting for that. There's also crediting available for central monitoring alarm systems. So I wanted to bring it up because I have a great example for Christmas. Everyone around in my life knows that I'm the epitome of a geek. I love technology. It's my favorite thing. So for Christmas, I got an alarm system. I won't name the company, but I got an alarm system that was very reasonably priced. And now I have motion detectors in my house that are all wireless, no hardwired running, all wireless and runs on batteries. I have a little thing that goes, so if my sliding glass door opens, it will go off, and so it's the tap alarm. I also have now invested in some additional motion alarms, and I've added 2 things on my own. I've added the ability to put a smoke detector monitor in my house, so if the smoke detector goes off,
you'll get a
set
notification?
it off. Yep. And freezing and water damage. So if you pick a spot in your house that could have water, you put this device in, and if it gets wet, it's going to notify you because it shouldn't get wet. And, of course, freezing as well. So now I've signed up for $100 a year. And this is about as cheap as it gets, right? So for $100 a year, I have central monitoring on my entire house: fire, theft, temperature, freezing, water. That's awesome, right? So you're like, oh, great. I'm going to now get all these credits on my homeowner policy, right? $60 a year is what I'll save.
Wow.
All right. Now, that's because
So it only costs you $40.
It's only $40. So I always tell people, and this is in the lowest end of that spectrum. So there's all kinds. You can go very advanced with this, and have the hardwire systems and have the higher end central monitoring and things like that. But the key point here is if you're looking to offset your expense of having these alarm systems, the crediting on your policy is probably not going to offset it. It will save you money, but it will not be an equal out. But for secondary properties, it can be. So that's something to think about too. So if you have a camp and you have the ability, see what it would cost to put an alarm system in your house, in your seasonal property, and see how that may impact the rate on your insurance. It may be worth doing.
I hope this doesn't sound like a tangent, but for years we had a client that we chatted with every week that dealt with surveillance like that. And they were talking about other things too. Like if the temperature in the house or the building drops drastically.
Yes.
Like wind blows a door open, tree takes out a window or something like that.
Yep. Or just general failure of the furnace or boiler.
Right. These are the kind of things that people are talking about. Most homeowners in today's world, they aren't necessarily term geeks like you, but most folks have this. But by sharing that, they probably didn't know that they could get
exactly
those
and
credits.
There's so many offerings out there now for these companies. So I love the fact that if for any number of reasons I'm not at home and I get an alert saying, hey, look, somebody's just entered your house, or hey, look, your smoke detector's going off, and it's going to call me, and I'm going to be able to verify yay or nay whether I'm home or not and whether it's a real emergency. And if not, they're dispatching on my behalf. And that's incredible. And did I need that? No. My level of geekdom needed that. Personally, I don't think I needed that, but I love the fact that we have it now.
That depends on who you ask that question to, because in today's world, you look at the stack of news stories that we've got here. More and more and more times people are getting broken into.
Yeah.
It's all over the internet with those those doorbell cameras there where they're catching people stealing stuff.
Exactly. Porch pirates.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not that fewer people are thinking about it. I think that more are. So if somebody's thinking about this and wants those credits, tell them.
Yeah, so if you want to have a discussion, even if you want to kind of get a pre-quote on what it would be if you had it, just let us know. Let your agent know. And how you get a hold of us is pretty simple. Just give us a call, 748-5224. Visit us on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube, all Barrett Insurance Agency.
Mike, good information for good policies.
Yes, sir.
Get over that cold.
I have a 6-year-old. I'll never get over this cold.
Enough said there.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for the halls.
All right. And stay warm. Good policies with Magic 97.7 and Barrett Insurance Agency now. Music from Alice Merton.